or call 888-9-TCM-SHOP.
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Thanks so much for being here with us. Right now, we have two movies which we've never shown on TCM before, both of which have a very strong reputation among those who are particularly loving of independent films from filmmakers with independent minds. They're the work of writer and director Whit Stillman. He was born in Washington, D.C., and came on the film scene with Metropolitan in 1990. It was his first movie, and for it, he received an Academy Award nomination in the category of Best Original Screenplay. Well, since that time, he's made only four films in 24 years. And joining me to talk about Whit Stillman and his movies is the man himself. Welcome, Whit.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. Now, first up, we're going to show that first movie that he made, Metropolitan, comedy of manners set in New York City of the 1980s, with a cast of new actors, several of whom Whit would use again in his later films. Now, first off, why four films in that long a time?
Well, I think if you're a writer, if you're a screenwriter, you do a lot of work that's sort of subterranean. It's like the iceberg where 4/5 of your work is unseen. So I sort of have movies that don't exist for the rest of the world, but they exist for me. And I had a long period of living in Europe, writing scripts that went very well, but I didn't get to make the films yet.
Mm-hmm. Now, why did you pick Metropolitan, the subject of these young people in New York City at that time?
Well, I had actually started out writing the script for Barcelona first, so I was involved with the Spanish film industry.
Which is the second film we're going to be seeing tonight, okay?
Yeah, I started writing that script first, and then I said, well, for a first film, I really should make it as limited, as constrained as possible.
Limited to what?
In production terms.
Okay.
So rather than going over to a country which is not my own country, although
to shoot in Barcelona.
Yeah, although I knew Barcelona well, I was married to it in a sense. I really should work in my home turf in Manhattan where I was living.
Right.
And I should have an idea that could be done with absolute minimal means. And the idea was really what story could be shot in one room, one large living room, and still look good. And I thought this period, like people after the debutante balls, dressed up, really nicely dressed, in sort of a beautiful location, talking and having their dramas, loves unfold, that could be an interesting thing. And then from that, we expanded it to something that showed New York. Someone told me that with a $4,000 insurance policy, you could get a permit to shoot anywhere in New York. So as a screenwriter, that said, okay, now I can have exteriors. Now I can have people walking and talking and moving around the city. And so the film opened up a lot, but it started out just what story can you tell in one room?
Absolutely. Where did you find the actors? There are some wonderful actors in this.
Well, we put an ad in the Actors Journal backstage, and we tried to make the film seem as serious a project as possible. And I think we had 300 actors who turned out for the first auditions. And among the first 50 people who showed up are a great many of the stars of the movie. So they sort of knew this was a film for them. I think we saw maybe 800 actors to cast the film.
Wow. No shortage of actors.
It was a perfect age group for this kind of film because a lot of the people were very talented. They were young people this age in New York. They didn't yet have agents and managers, and they weren't necessarily in the guild, so that they could do a low-budget film.
Right. Well, let's see the movie. Here it is, produced independently and released through New Line Cinema. From 1990, here's the TCM premiere of Whit Stillman's Metropolitan.